Hello there, folks. This is Joe here. Hey, I got an email from a good friend of mine, and I been pretty busy today, so I didn't get a chance to get back to him. So I thought this evening I'd make a quick little video to cover his request. So here's what I got from this fella. He's got an application where he wants the user to adjust a temperature slider. He wants to tap on the slider, and a password dialog box opens up. The person then enters a username and password and is able to use the slider. And then after 5 seconds or 10 seconds, the user is automatically logged off. That's the to-do list in this case. So what I've done here, I got a data tag over here, and I got a bunch of tags, but I call this one temperature set point. That's going to be my temperature tag here in this application. On the format tab, since I'm using a slider, on the format tab for the tag, I have to declare the min and max. Otherwise, the slider is not going to know what's the minimum value and what's the max, so it's not going to move. So I have declared here at this value, this thing's going to go from 0 to 100. Then on the display page, over in the right-hand side of primitives, and the slider that he's looking for is, I don't think there's one in core. Let me look here. Is there one in here? No, there's not. But you have to go into the category called legacy primitives. And in legacy primitives, you have this slider here, or you have this one here. These are the two that I think of. There's maybe some others, but these two here are the ones I'm thinking of. So all I did is I dragged this on the page here and made it a little bigger. If I double click on this thing, I want you to notice that I linked on the data tab. I just simply grabbed the tag I want to use and put it right here. So that's going to be what it uses. I didn't do anything else here at the other tabs. That's all I'm doing here. Because the min and max is declared at the tag level, this will be 0 and this will be 100 here. So that's what I did there. Now, because he wants the security manager to pop up, so I went over here to the left side, went to security, and I created a new user. I called it Ty, some lowercase, two things put in, and I made the password just 123 here for easy. However, down here, I checked the box user rights 1. So this person is able to use user rights 1. Also, if I click back on the security, up here, you can see the inactivity timeout is set to 600 seconds by default. So if I was to change that to, say, 10 seconds or so, after 10 seconds of somebody not using it, that would log that user out. I'm going to show a different way to do this as well, but that's where you can set that. So if I go back to data tags, since I only want the users with rights R1 to use this, if I go to the security tab, for that tag, here for access control, if I hit the edit button, I'm going to choose users with specific rights here, and I'm going to check the box user rights 1. So that will invoke the security manager, at least I hope, to pop up and request our data before we change the value. So I'm going to click the OK button here. And I think that's all I'm going to do here for this test. Let me download this to our so-called screen. And let's see here. So here it is. Come up here. If I click on this, oops, it's going to reset here. So when I click on this, notice this confirm change comes up. So I just clicked anywhere. I could also touch, but I clicked here. So I must have clicked right here. It wants to go 0 to 24. I hit the enter button. I'm going to put in the username Ty, the password 123, enter, and now it sits at 24. Now if I do it again real quick, since I'm still logged in within that 10-second window, I can sit here and click this anywhere in between here. Again, because the limits are 0 to 100, this side is going to be closer to 0, and this side is going to be closer to 100. But if I let it sit, what was that time? Let me go back here and check. If I let it sit at least 10 seconds, then it will log that person out. So I think I've talked long enough for 10 seconds. So if I click here, look, this time I clicked right about here, so it wants to go from 56 to 77. It is invoking the security manager again. So if I hit the enter button here, there's Ty. You can also do a button there, but to get rid of the name. But I'll hit the enter password, and there it is. And again, here's the 10 seconds. So if you wanted to go one step further, and instead of that 10 seconds there, so like the default here is I think 600 for timeout here. I'll put that back to 600. If you wanted to do one other thing here, instead of that, it's basically saying, hey, every time he makes the change, when it's done, log that person out. Here's what you can do in that case. You click over here in display pages, double click on your so-called slider, double click on that, And on the particular slider here, if you go to the entry tab, and you can see down here, you've got some options: on selected, on deselected, or entry complete. Really, the on entry complete is where once the person puts in the right number, I want to log that person out. So what I'm going to do is I'll go over here to the lower right hand corner and click System. And in the System section, if you expand your functions tree and then go down to the Security category, there's a function called User Log Off. So anytime the person gets done putting in a value, I'm going to log them off. And I'm just going to grab this. Whoops, not that one. User Log Off. I'm going to grab this one and drag and drop it right there. That will automatically log off that person after he changes it. So let's try it. Let me click OK just to make sure before I download. Notice the inactivity set to 600. So that really would normally keep that person logged in for 10 minutes. But because of what I just did on the slider thing, that should automatically log him out every time he does it. So let's try it. Let me download this to it. And let's go over here to our web browser. Let's see here. It should refresh. And okay, there it goes. All right. So I'm back to 0. By the way, I didn't have this tentative, so that's why I didn't keep it. That's perfect. So let's say I want to put it at the 50 percentile. So I'm going to write around here. That's about 53. I'll click enter. Put in Ty as the name again. And then put in 123 as my password. Boom. There it is. So if I click over here, I have to do this all over again. Oops. Did I miss a 2 there? There you go. So now every time I get done putting in a number, I have to go through this procedure every time. So instead of having that amount of time, apparently I put the wrong password in, but yeah. So now every time I get done logging here, doing something, so Ty is the name. I must have. What is with my keyboard here, team? TY. There we go. Password 123. Enter. There you go. Anyway, that's just a quick video on the Security Manager and how you can use that with a slider button and how to time out. So I think we covered all the steps that they're looking to do here. So there you go. And that's about it. Sorry, Steve, for my delaying it back to you. Hey, thanks a lot, team. Have a great day. See you guys.